Jealousy is not really something that we like to talk about.
What I really loved about this Jealous podcast is it's going to put me into that sense of like, how do you enjoy what you have?
Well, welcome back to Jealous Podcast. Good day.
Yeah, we had a good one.
We did.
I feel like we say that after every single one, but
Which is good.
Yeah.
That's why we keep doing them.
Quality over quantity, folks.
If we have a bad one, then we stop. Never to be heard from again.
we're just going to bury that one.
We just stop doing it, and then that person will have really low self-confidence because they'll know, like, oh my God, I was the last one. And they said if it was bad, we'd never do it again. So
they're the axe that killed it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Straw that broke the podcast back.
But
yes, who do we have?
We had my buddy Michael Admire, voice of the Drake Bulldogs and director of I think his official title is director of DSM Reels.
DSM Reels, and
yeah.
kind of explain
Drake
what
Sports
that
Media.
is.
So he basically just handles like a lot of social media, storytelling aspects for Drake University athletics for whatever sport, mainly basketball is what I've seen him do. But it was really cool to just have him come in here, speak on like his mindset, how he's changed. And, you know, really like it went in a very different direction that I thought it was going to go, but it went in like the best direction. Because I've known Michael personally forever from working with him at Channel 13 and for a little bit at Drake before I came to Bing Bang.
Yeah.
And so hearing like what he's going through right
he's
now.
He's on a journey,
everything.
let's just say. And it is...
he's vegan.
Yeah, he's vegan. He's this...
I respect his vegan. I'm not giving up bacon.
You know, I got to have that corn-fed beef. It's what I'm about. Probably won't be seeing me go vegan anytime soon. But I respect and I appreciate, and that, like, so much inspiration and motivation came out of that guy. I'm like, damn, I feel like I could go do something.
The way he speaks so passionately about things, I think was the best part.
Yes, I agree. And he was the first in-person guest in our new space. So we are officially in the new Bing Bang office, and it is beautiful. We love it. It is just like so perfectly us. We've got these bitchin' neon signs. It's just really cool. It just feels like brand new vibe. Like, I don't know.
The creative juices are like, you know, they're reignited a little bit being in here.
Yes. The move was kind of just like, as all moves are. I mean, I don't like ever want to move another house again, but you know, hopefully that'll happen actually.
Well, hey, if you're moving your new house, Liz, put on this podcast right now.
If what?
If you're moving to a new house, put on this podcast right now.
Oh, that's right. That's
what I'm saying.
We will fill your ear holes.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
We're going off the rails. So yeah, enjoy this episode. It was a lot of fun. I told Michael, like, wasn't sure what to expect, but it exceeded all of them. And I think it was kind of rude, but it wasn't. Yeah, it was a compliment. I just give compliments in weird ways.
Get ready to listen to the Bradley Cooper of Des Moines.
Yeah, that's right. See you later. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being here. I feel like it's like you're like Kevin Bacon, like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, because like everyone here knows you, and I watched you on the news, but I didn't really know you. Everyone knows. Now I finally get to meet you, so welcome.
Thank you very much. One of the things when I moved to Des Moines, I didn't know anybody. So it is kind of funny that you mentioned that because, now I feel like I just have inserted myself into a bunch of different friend groups. Or
Michael's always like, every time somebody's just like, oh yeah, I know Michael Admire. He's the Drake guy or the WHO 13 guy, or now he's vegan.
Well, you're a CrossFit guy, so
I'm barely a CrossFit guy. I'm barely that, just in the office.
I keep adding things to my belt, but that is kind of fun. Like my wife and I, whenever we have people over, it'll be, these are the head coach of Drake. Well, Darren DeVries around, and then also in the same party as like her high school best friend. Mm-hmm. And so there are always these weird mixes of people, but sometimes mostly it works out.
It usually does.
Yeah.
I haven't been there when it doesn't work out.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall when it didn't work out.
Just come over and hang out. We always have cold drinks and plenty of food.
And a fire pit.
And a fire pit.
Charcuterie boards for days.
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny. Like last September, it would have been, my husband and I went to the Maren Morris concert at Waterworks Park. And my husband was like, well, there's Michael Admire and his wife. And I was like, really?
That's our thing.
like, he's like, go say hi. No, I don't know him, but I should have introduced
Yeah, absolutely.
myself.
That was a late birthday present for me. Or I got the tickets on my birthday, and then we went in September. I mean, we go to as many concerts and festivals as you can possibly squeeze in summer, and like we kind of got this like itch going right now because we're really missing it.
I know.
No, like the thing, if you see the Admires at any sort of concert, like, and then you interact with them, prepare for a good time. Because
I was like 7 months pregnant at the time, so I was not having a good. I mean, I was, of course.
like the thing I remember is when me and my wife Desiree, we ran into you and Anna at the state fair, and we were about to leave. Like we had already been there for like 5 hours. I was tired. We were full of food, and then like you and Anna just coming in hot, like a couple drinks in, and I'm like, all right, this is where the night's going now.
The state fair is our jam, and a couple years ago, I think we go like 7 out of the 10 days, 8 out of the 10 days. I mean, we are always there because we love concerts, so there are the free stages, but then there are all these like different elements of the state fair that we just really enjoy, and we often, and this is, I hope no like police officers hear this at the state fairgrounds because it's going to totally call us out, but with the cowboy boots, we usually have them stuffed with some
That's
some
really
like
creative.
airport bottles.
I wasn't sure if you were going to do that because
so,
like I walked into the fair that day with just like money, my wallet, and myself, and I walked out with like 3 shooter bottles of vodka. I was like,
you told me that story.
I was like, I had no clue that this is where the night was going.
So if you see us at the state fair, especially next year, you either want to join in right away
join
or
the
run
party.
the other way. It'll be because it's going to be.
It was like the first time I saw
100.
Hairball too. I was like, the heck are
Oh my
these
gosh.
guys?
Yeah, we wandered into the Hairball concert with like 2 songs to go, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I feel
It
like
was a good
you
time.
walk into the Hairball concert and you walk out as a completely different person. Like it just changes you.
It was a spiritual experience.
You saw some things that night.
I'm sure that you did. All right. Well, I'm going to bring us back. Jealous Podcast.
Yes.
We always we start off strong, and we always ask our guest, what does jealousy mean to you?
I love this question because it really did challenge me to think beyond maybe what it is in the dictionary. And frankly, I hate jealousy. I hate the thought of it, and try to work. I try to put myself in situations in life that I'm not jealous of anybody or anything. But I have noticed recently one maybe common thing in what jealousy means to me is when you see somebody living a life or living in the way that one strives for, that you strive for. Mm-hmm. And whatever that may be, if somebody's for me, it's like when somebody's traveling the world and experiencing the world and cultures, it's like that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Or if somebody's in a situation where they're telling stories that I want to tell, mm-hmm. I'm like, man, that's something that I want to do, and I think that's where maybe jealousy sparks up for me.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's different for every single person. But I think that's what makes it unique, and hopefully this podcast unique because, yeah, it's different for everyone.
Yeah, well, and Michael, the reason like I wanted to bring you in, so everybody I brought in before has been like people that I've known like here and there, maybe worked with a couple times, maybe interviewed. Like Michael and I have been through some shit.
Hairball.
Yeah, we went through Hairball, but like, so for people who don't know, you worked at WHO 13, both, and you were there for like a year or two when I started?
Yeah, so I guess I started at Channel 13 in 2013. Okay, so it's February of 2013.
So, yeah, and then I came November 2015.
Okay.
So yeah, you were already there for a little bit. And like throughout our time there, I think out of anybody at 13 that I worked with, like I worked with you the most. And I was always jealous of you. I was like, damn it, Michael's a good shooter. Damn it, Michael's a good storyteller. Damn it, people just want to be around Michael. like I was always jealous of you because I always felt like I was kind of just following. And that's kind of how the reporter-photographer relationship always works. Like the photographer sometimes just kind of follows and like you're there. But like with you and kind of how you said earlier, like you're in all these different groups in Des Moines. I felt like you as a reporter, like you were always able to just get in there and like be ready to go. And I think that's an aspect and a trait that a lot of people are very jealous of. It's kind of just that ability to like speak to people and just be able to be around people in a very comfortable way.
I really appreciate that, Sam, because I mean that is literally how I've tried to live my entire life, is to connect to people. And that's why I was drawn to television news and sports and just storytelling in general, is because I wanted to meet people and tell their stories. But then also, when you expose yourself to so many people in various ways, you have to kind of carry that same, I don't know, you got to carry yourself in a way that people are drawn to you or like you, and not so much want to be like you, but somebody that people can look up to. And I take great responsibility in that. So for you to say that, I really appreciate it. And yeah, we have been through some shit, because when you think about, I mean, driving to West Virginia, a road trip where the stops in Ohio.
Oh man,
we're grinding and we're working for this common goal, but at the same time, like, we're working so hard and we're so tired that then we get on each other's nerves. And sometimes when I haven't, eaten a proper meal, I can be kind of a jerk to be around. And in that atmosphere, I demand so much of myself. And so then that can carry over to you as well.
Yeah.
I'm a very demanding person when it comes to the work profession. So,
well, and it was never like it was like, there were probably points where both of us were like, man, Michael's being a real dick, or like Sam's being a bit of a punk right now. And there's just some of these moments where like, I knew we were both on each other's nerves, but we couldn't be mad because we both like looked at each other and were like, we're going to kick the crap out of today, aren't we?
Dude, it was such a cool relationship. And I can't tell how many times like I'd text my wife or call her after a long day of work, and it's like, Sam did this like incredibly stupid thing on this edit, and we worked through it. We talked about it. We were mad at each other, but then at the end of the day, like, now we're sitting here, having a 6-pack and eating pizza. Like that was just kind of our friendship and our working relationship, which is why I was so excited when you had the opportunity to spend a couple months with us at Drake to kind of rekindle that a little bit, and why I'm just jacked to being here with you guys today.
Yeah, man. No, and again, like, I think, so kind of going back to the jealousy then, because you talk about like what people are doing that you're jealous of, but who specifically now, like if you were to look at your Instagram feed or stories that you were doing, like who are you jealous of right now?
That's, man, how deep are we going to get into this? Because
as deep as you want to go, Michael.
That's right.
Maybe it's what it is today is completely different than what it was maybe 6 months ago, 12 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I have always done my best to try to live each day by getting just a little bit better and trying to become a better person, because I have nieces and nephews. I have family that believes in me. I have best friends that care and look up to me. And so I have a wife and a family that, that I want to be the best possible person I can be. So recently, I've kind of dove into a world of just kind of self-reflection and how can I become the best possible person when it comes to, spiritually, physically, several different aspects. But back in February, March, when the coronavirus hit, I really wanted to challenge myself and step outside the box and find something that was going to push me a little bit. And I started looking into plant-based eating, and it really opened my eyes to this entire other world that I didn't even know was out there, because I was so stuck in my own ways and my own way of thinking. So with that, to kind of answer your question, yes, 6 months ago I became vegan, and so now I live in this world to where I want to live like some of the people that put sustainability first, put other people first. And I mean, Zac Efron is one of those guys that I look at right now.
Is he vegan too?
He's plant-based. I don't think he is completely vegan. And if you've seen his story or the Netflix show Down to Earth,
that's on the list to watch.
You're talking about wanting to travel, wanting to do all this stuff. I'm like, you need to watch that Zac Efron show.
Oh, it's awesome. And so now I watch that, and our lives kind of align in many ways. And so I'm really jealous of him because he's executed it to the utmost level, telling stories on Netflix. Like that's a freaking dream of mine.
Right.
Along with, Darren O'Lean, who's his cohort there. I would say those are some of the people right now that I really look up to, or seek out learning about, through podcasts or whatever it may be, the show itself. I'm jealous of how they have managed to, turn a, sustainable life, a healthy living style into careers. It took a lot of work to get there, but yeah, I would say that's who right now today I'm jealous
So,
of.
so,
There's
so
a
it's
long
ever
list.
evolving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, think about yourself 5 years ago looking at you now.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
unrecognizable
Yeah,
almost.
and like you would definitely probably be jealous of yourself. So like comparing, I think it's so cool. You compare yourself to other people. You can do that all day on Instagram, on the internet, whatever. But like comparing yourself to a former version of yourself, that's like blows your mind, because would you have ever thought that you would be doing this stuff now, 5 years ago, or what?
I guess
10
I would
years
have
ago?
aspired to be
Sure.
in a situation to where I'm healthy and I have a happy wife and my family. I'm surrounded by great people. I mean, I maybe had shot for that, a good job, all those things. But yeah, I wouldn't have known how it all came about or what exactly I would be doing. And what really fires me up is thinking about, okay, 5 years ago I was this person, right? I don't think I've changed a ton when it comes to like Michael, the personality or the person. Some of the things that I do have changed. So looking back at that person 5 years ago, but also what could happen in 5 years if I
Right.
continue to live the way I am and the way I have for the last 6 months? Like that really fires me up. That's what
Yeah.
motivates me every day when I wake up. That's why when I make a decision on, as simply as what I put on my plate every day, it's that fires me up as well. Okay, 6 or 5 years from now, man, anything's possible.
Yeah, and I remember when I invited you over to my new apartment with the wife for you and your wife to have dinner with us, and then you told me you were vegan. I was like, this is a fact. This is.
Are you on a diet?
Well, that's what I thought. I was like,
How
all
do you
right.
get your
Look
protein?
great.
Yeah. No, well, and like I've never been against vegan. I love bacon. And so when you told me that, I was like, oh wow, you guys are like full sending into this vegan thing. Like you have your own garden and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Kansas City. Barbecue was my thing.
That was the most surprising thing too. I was
Yeah.
I've been to a barbecue place with Michael. I know he can like
Put
put
it
it away.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I trust me. I know that was a huge part of my life, is going out and eating barbecue wherever we went, whether it's Memphis or on our way back from West Virginia. I always wanted to stop at a barbecue place. I grew up in a hunting family. I mean, I have shot and killed a deer before. I've shot and killed many animals before, or fishing or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, when you allow yourself to open your mind to different philosophies and different mindsets, and for me at this time, it is the vegan world, and yeah, it's kind of unlocked. It's what I tell people. It's been kind of like this key that has locked so much more within my life, and it's fun and it's exciting. I'm not going to be like that. I don't want to be that like vegan that you typically think of.
The guy who's like
Portlandia
pushing
dude, or,
veganism.
whatever. But yeah, it is something that has 100% changed my life. Much like me changing the jobs or being in a certain job. Has changed my life.
That's what I was gonna. So I think it's cool. You've been doing this thing on your Instagram called like Mindset Monday.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that you recently posted about that. How like everything that has helped you grows when you stepped out of your comfort zone. Like when you stepped out of your comfort zone to leave the comfort of WHO 13 to pursue a job in still sports broadcasting, just a different niche of it.
Yep.
Now veganism and a couple other things in your life. Like, can you expand on that and talk about, that whole idea of like just getting out of your comfort zone? Like, what was the hardest part about getting out of your comfort zone from going from traditional news reporting to to a broadcast and working for a university?
So for that, I think it was mainly just the fact that I maybe was giving up on a dream that I thought I had. I've always wanted to be a network storyteller or a regional storyteller,
like a Scott Van Pelt or
HBO Real Sports. Like that's kind of my area is long form storytelling or a Netflix series. And maybe I thought that was the best route was through sports television. I don't know. And then I eventually I just wanted to challenge myself because I kind of felt like I was done at Channel 13. I kind of reached the plateau. I had done so many things. I had already covered 5 state soccer tournaments. As the number 3 reporter, I don't have some of the flexibility or some of the other stuff that Keith and John get to do, and there wasn't any room for me to move up. So yeah, I was just kind of done. I just really felt internally that I was done, but it was leaving Keith and John. I mean, it's like leaving the Golden State Warriors, like Kevin Durant did. I mean, why would you leave
like that?
Why would you leave the Warriors? You have 3 titles. We had been raking in Emmy awards for the previous 5 or 6 years that I was there. Why leave that? And it was literally, I just felt like I'm done here. Now it's time for the next challenge. I don't know what that's going to be, but it was starting to creep in. Like I had to find something. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people can really look back to the best or maybe even the worst decisions that they made in their life. And there is some underlying connection. And for me, it had been always looking back to, okay, I met Anna and we're now married and she's the love of my life. What happened there? Well, I sent a Facebook message to her, and that is totally out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's a small thing, but I just felt disgusting typing up a message. We had some connections and stuff, so it was a little bit easier than typically. But at the same time, I shot my shot and it worked.
I could talk about. We could have a whole podcast just about this kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes, totally. And then I didn't know anybody in Des Moines, Iowa, when I first moved here, but it just felt like stepping outside my comfort zone. I'd never been to Iowa before. I interviewed for the job, and I came here, and it's my home now. The list of stuff continues to go on. It's like, okay, every time something good in my life happens, it's because I've zigged or zagged. I've gone against maybe what for most of my life I'd been accustomed to being told to do. Go ahead.
I want to touch on that a little bit because even with your becoming vegan and doing these things, it's because it's just what we think that we're supposed to do, or not that our family or our friends have pushed us that way, but I just feel like so many decisions are based on what's been done before.
100%. Yeah. And it's okay to get into a routine, into a rhythm and feel comfortable. It's nice. I've lived in Des Moines for 7 years. I never thought that was going to be a thing because I was like, I got to move. I got to try something else out. But yeah, at the same time, it is just, I think it's just important to challenge yourself. Mm-hmm. Challenge yourself spiritually. Challenge yourself mentally. Listen to other people's mindsets or viewpoints. Even if you don't, you think it's silly to listen to a Democratic presidential speaker. Well, listen to them, and just maybe there'll be something in there that clicks for you, mm-hmm. and maybe there's a connection, or maybe it reaffirms what you're already doing. I don't know. But at the same time, I really just am a full believer in finding ways to challenge yourself by stepping outside your own comfort zone and kind of becoming comfortable and becoming regular with that uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because I think sometimes even people, they might be scared to try something, not because they fail, but maybe because they might like it.
Or something, or there's a self-realization that I've been doing this wrong the whole time.
You're right.
I have killed animals. I'm eating meat. I can't, like even just 6 months into this lifestyle change or direction, I feel I am brought to emotion thinking about killing an animal, or even putting an animal product on my plate. Like that really bothers me. And some of the other stuff, within sustainability, it's like, gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this crap my entire life. I've been putting on this, certain deodorant that is basically toxins, and I've been doing this for 30 years or 25 years. And there's a little bit of that. You want to avoid feeling bad about yourself. But if you do, then you just live a entire life like that.
Well, and I think it's so, like, I think we get into that, like what you were saying, like you feel bad about yourself, like what the hell was I doing, blah, blah, blah. But then so many people don't act on those feelings.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, exactly. Like you
That's another podcast.
Yes, it is.
Like you feel bad about what you're doing, but you don't do anything necessarily to change it because, like you said, Mackenzie, like it's just been the status quo.
Well, yeah, you don't want to upset the apple cart, and you don't want to like tell people or like your peers, like, hey, I'm not gonna do this anymore, because then there's a whole like another layer, like, oh God, like what's going to happen? Like, are they going to accept me still? Are they going to accept me for this new version of myself? Like, oh boy.
Well, and that was one of the things about going to Drake. Whenever I switched over, at first it was kind of celebrated within the sports media community. It's like, okay, Michael's, going to Drake, and he's going to, boost their social media platforms and all these things. And once that's exciting. Like people were celebrating that. And I felt good because it was going against the grain, but people were celebrating the against the grain. Well, then 18 months, 2 years into doing that, there are still some areas where like the grind within that has been really challenging. And so it's been those nights and days where I find myself disappointed in a broadcast, or, maybe we're underfunded or whatever it may be, and executing exactly what we want to do. Those challenges and those things that I face every day are the real reason why I made that change, is to continue to challenge myself. It wasn't just the initial change. It was the things that I didn't know would come. And that's fun. It's exhilarating. And that's why I had made the switch from Channel 13, is because like I kind of felt like every day was starting to turn into the same. And that's not how I operate.
Yeah. Well, and I think you're in a position at Drake where, like, we've had this conversation before, like you're defining what your job is every single day. Like if you go to like Power 5 schools or anything like that, like everybody has a clear idea of like what the social media presence is for the athletics and stuff like that. And I feel like for you, you're doing something very different in terms of like full on storytelling, and then doing things also that help promote the college and the athletics department as well. How difficult is, like you said, it's that challenge, but how difficult is it for you to like explain that to some people? Like,
no, it's really hard to explain to people.
But and I think a lot of people would be jealous to be in that position, because like you said, like everybody in their job at some point gets to a point where like everything feels day to day, or like you're pushing something up the hill, and it's, same shit, different day.
Yeah. And that, to that point, I'm very content. I'm very happy with the places that I've been and in my job. But one thing is like, you want to be content, but not satisfied. Like you still want to kind of chase those dreams. Yes. I know some people will look at my job and think, man, that's really cool. For me, it's cool. I'm content. I'm happy. But also, like, there's still more out there. Like, don't sit here and look at me. Look to yourself and look up to, what's next for you, because you're wasting your time, thinking about, jealousy with my job. Sam, what was your actual question?
I don't know. I'm just making comments. But now.
How hard it is to make up your own job.
Yeah, like how, because I've been in a position like that. Like
scary. I was scary too. Like I would think.
The thing that I've had the hardest time with is just not knowing if people approve of it, not knowing,
Yes.
because like on, Channel 13, there are hundreds and thousands of viewers and listeners, and you get feedback pretty quickly. You can win awards, that kind of stuff. But the stuff that we're doing at Drake, we don't have a huge fan base right now. And then you look into the crowd, and it was underwhelming last year for what we had our expectations set at. So then that's disappointing. It's like, am I even like, the stuff I'm doing, is it even worth it? And so I do find myself really grappling with that quite a bit. There are some fun stuff. We're doing some cool stuff, but also, I don't want to do 100 marketing videos. Like, I hate that. I don't want to do a marketing, but that kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah.
And that's what everybody at Drake tells me I've got to do is, do this marketing video because that helps us out. I'm like, well, but what if we really invested in this area? Well, we just don't have. And so there are some of those push and pull struggles.
Yeah. Do you think you're kind of in a mode of like peaks and valleys? Like when
100%.
like when the
I
peak,
was
like
just gonna say.
I think back to Des Moines Hometown Week, and
Yes.
I felt like I barely contributed to Des Moines Hometown Week for Drake. Like I helped you do one video on how people can get the shirts when they finally come out and stuff like that, and then like did a couple hype videos for the intros for the games. So like I felt like I barely contributed to what you led in that like Herculean effort at Drake for Des Moines Hometown Week. I've lost my train of thought, but like
Peaks and valleys.
Yeah, like that's such a high peak. Like, what was the valley to get to that peak?
Probably football season was the valley. Just because I didn't really have a role. I'm not the play-by-play guy for the football team, so I don't have that connection. What do I do on Saturdays? I show some highlights. And I honestly, coming into this season, I still really didn't have a clear picture on what I was going to do. So yeah, you sit there and just you feel like you're worthless for literally 6 months. I mean, I was so mad at myself, and I had even reached out, or somebody had reached out to me from a Kansas City TV station and was like, hey, I know you just started this job, but would you be interested in coming down here? And I was like, yeah, let's talk. I mean, let's see what could happen. Nothing materialized from that, which I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that I got through those 6 months, because then, basketball season hits, and we're then working towards the goal. And I was given some opportunity to run with an idea. And that's where some of the stuff now, it's like, I just did this Des Moines Hometown Team Weekend with some of my buddies and a couple people here at Drake. Imagine what we could do with this if you just give me a little bit of space. Let me do it. Let me run with it. But it's a private university. There's more than just sports at Drake, which is also why I love being there, because it just attracts a certain type of student athlete. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely had those valleys where, 2 months ago, we're planning the return to campus. And I sent out a couple ideas, like, okay, here's my plan for the return to campus. It's like 2 pages long. I send this email out, which I was told to create so then we could present to the powers that be. And I didn't get a message back. I don't think I still have. And so it was so deflating. It was so frustrating.
Yeah. Well, and that's such a different work environment too, compared to what like you and I were working in at 13. Like before that, it was kind of just like, if we saw the idea, we would just go and do it. Yep. As opposed to like, now things have to be approved.
Totally.
Now things have to, go through at least 2 other people to just, get the idea going, which is sometimes really great. Like I've noticed coming here to Bing Bang, like being able to really collaborate off more people and then like finally get that approval was like that helps fully flesh out an idea sometimes.
Well, and the collaboration thing, we didn't have any collaboration because we're all at home. God. So that was the thing that was like really driving me nuts. It's like, I'm a storyteller, creative guy. I've got to be collaborating with people. I can't just be sitting at home. And so that's why I came up with this grandiose plan of our attack, what happens when we get back to campus. But then, like you said, it's peaks and valleys. I'm feeling down about that. Don't get any response. But then the next week, we start this All One group on campus, which is a group of coaches and staff that are working to dismantle and identify weaknesses within the athletic department when it comes to social and racial injustices. So that motivated me because I'm already in this mindset of, really push myself to think outside the box. So then, I've spent a few months looking into sustainability and plant-based eating and ways to, help the environment. But now it's like, okay, I'm going to challenge myself in a way of, trying to learn and put myself in a mindset of what like our Black student athletes are thinking. And you want to talk about something that makes you feel really shitty is that. Because, I've spent 30 years maybe compartmentalizing stuff in one way. And then now I'm starting to challenge myself to think a different way. And or just challenge myself to expose myself to stories and encounters that I have never even heard of or can't even wrap my mind around. And so that's also motivating. And so now I'd say I'm probably right on this high right now. I'm on this mountain, or at least a little bit on a climb, because there's something there.
Just ride that up to basketball season, man.
Exactly.
And I think that's the key, is to knowing that, like, if you're a creative, or if this is like the path that you're on, there will be those peaks and those valleys, they may get pretty low, and you're probably experiencing kind of like a peak and a valley right now, just like telling those stories with those Black student athletes. Like, holy shit.
Yes.
I mean, I know, like, we've been doing a lot of just deeper diving into that here, and I have personally, and I'm like, it feels good, but it also feels kind of bad.
100%. And we're doing podcasts at Drake, and that was one thing that I really wanted to tackle early on because, man, side note, with media, we still need long-form journalism. We still need long-form storytelling because that's where things change. That's where people really start to learn more about themselves and about each other. It's not through a minute story on the news. Side note, rant over. But
clients, listen to this.
But yeah, we were talking about the peaks and valleys. I kind of got on my soapbox there.
That's okay. But just telling those stories.
Telling us. Yeah, so we have the podcast. And that was something I really wanted to tackle early on with the return to campus, was because it's so important to jump into that conversation as soon as possible. And we have that platform with the podcast. And I was really down this summer about some of the stuff I wasn't able to do. And so I was like, I'm just going to do this with the podcast, and I'm going to, take this on. And so then that kind of led me to, the series that we just are in the middle of. And it was good to have that opportunity to talk through some of the things with a couple of our Black coaches and what they're experiencing.
Awesome.
Yeah. No. So kind of now transitioning to like, let's get on the happy train here.
Happy train. Hey, I'm happy.
You're
as
always
all
happy.
Get out right now.
Michael's the
I love
conductor.
this, and that's the thing. Like I love these. I just love these conversations that are deeper than surface level, and that really makes me happy. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it fuels me.
Yeah,
Man.
I was even I was in a funk. I told you guys before that. I was like, ugh, and this is good. This is good for me. This is good for all people. So.
Oh yeah, just deep conversation.
Deep convo.
Nuanced conversation.
Yeah.
But so now kind of transitioning to what you do at Drake. You're the voice of the Drake Bulldogs, the men's team.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter
The
Phillip.
Bradley Cooper of, what did I say?
you called him the Bradley Cooper of Des Moines.
The Bradley Cooper of sports. I don't know. It was really good though. And I was going to.
It was a great one-liner.
Yeah, it was good. I was like filling up my water. I've lost it now.
I do love Bradley Cooper. He's a step. Where did that?
I don't know.
Is it okay?
It just, I was like.
We were looking into your beautiful eyes, Michael.
I wasn't.
Saw Bradley
I was just
Cooper.
like filling up my water. You were talking about the podcast. I'm like, well, yeah, he's the Bradley Cooper of Des Moines.
But like, so as the voice of the Drake Bulldogs, then like in the peak of basketball, like what's your favorite part about your job then? Because like I've seen you, like the main portion of your job takes place in that basketball season from like
early November to
November
March.
to March.
Yeah.
So like around that time, what's your favorite part of it? Because I think, and the thing is, like I see you post about it too, and everybody who's like into sports, like everybody gets jealous, like, oh, they get to, like, for work, they just get to be at games, like that's it. And I'm like, no, that's not it.
Well, I love that. I love sports,
and that's how it was too at WHO 13 though for us. Like I would post a picture like, hey, works at Jack Trice Stadium. See you guys on game day.
This is my office today.
But like nobody sees what you put in for that work. So like, what's your favorite part about that basketball season for you as the voice of the Bulldogs? And what's something that people don't necessarily know about the work that goes into putting on an amazing broadcast?
So the travel, I love the travel. I love experiencing the team atmosphere. I love being on a team, which you don't get at Channel 13 really. You have to be middle of the road or whatever. But at Drake, I can kind of cheer for the Bulldogs. I can pull for these guys that I've started to build relationships with, and that's really, really cool. And then I do love the game itself, calling the game, calling the action. It's fast paced. I'm not perfect at it yet. I'm not a great basketball mind by any means. I'm working at that as well. But it's so fun to see the ebbs and flows of a season and the emotions and the hard work and everything that goes into 40 minutes a night. It's a lot of fun, and that's by far my favorite part. Just the whole team aspect, the travel and watching the grind and everything. And then personally, and this was like a huge thing for me, is the preparation for a game. Learning the other team, learning the stories and all that stuff, because I'll be the first one to tell you, the first year I was so far behind in preparation that I was just trying to keep my head above water, because I didn't fully understand what it took to prepare for a game. And that's another thing that I'm trying to work on. Last year, I felt like I got into a little bit more of a rhythm, but that's something maybe that people don't fully understand, is just the hours that go into watching games and familiarizing yourself with names and opponents.
What's the weirdest pronunciation for a name that you've had to do so far?
Oh my goodness.
Was there one that you were like, I'm gonna get it, and then you got to air and you're just like completely botched?
So there are a couple of those. Yes, a couple, because I also have this kind of like Southern draw that pops up every once in a while, so I can't pronunciate names very well. There's a Ville Tavanainen from Bradley. That's kind of was a tough one at first, but then you get it down and it feels good. Bradley did have a player a couple years ago, and I think he just went by OG so I just call him his nickname the whole game because I couldn't pronounce it. I wish I had it on me. But yeah, there are plenty out there.
What's the key? Yeah. Just saying it very confidently, just like.
Yes.
Yeah. If that's honestly, I think the key to anything. With a question like mark? If you go into anything confidently, nobody else around you is going to question it.
Oh my God.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. That's Ville Tavanainen, and just kind of mumble it and go.
That guy knows what he's talking about.
That guy knows what he's doing, kind of.
Kind of.
But so like you've had all these moments in sports then, and like looking through like even just some of the stuff that we put on the slideshow, like you've been on how many RVTVs, you've gotten to cover the Little League World Series, the Kentucky Derby twice. You've probably visited every single Big Ten stadium?
Not every single Big Ten stadium, but quite a few.
Yeah, you got to a few, and then Big 12 too.
Mm-hmm.
And then all these teams in the Missouri Valley and stuff like that. Like when people look at your Instagram and your Facebook feed, I think it's really easy to be jealous. What do you say to those people when, they see all these things that you've done? Because like I was with you at the Kentucky Derby and it was badass.
Yeah, dude. Kentucky Derby, Rose Bowl, Little League World Series, and 2 World Series with the Cubs and Royals. So yeah, man, I
forgot about we did do the you and I did the World Series.
Oh, we just did the World Series.
Yeah, we did.
We did. We weren't in Wrigley, but
we were in Wrigleyville.
That's your second weird nuts. Flex of the week. The first one was Ashton Kutcher. Like,
I did interview Ashton Kutcher.
Okay.
So.
Did you? That's really cool.
Yeah, because he was getting an award from Governor Branstad at the time, and then him and Mila came, and it was like at the Hy-Vee thing in West Des Moines.
Very nice.
Ashton Kutcher. To interview
Ashton
Mila,
Kutcher.
Though? That's actually
I didn't get to interview Mila.
Yeah. Okay.
Ashton Kutcher just out there single-handedly ending COVID in
Iowa. I know. Hashtag test Iowa.
No, what would I say to those people? Listen, I have, maybe now I understand it more than I did 10 years ago when I got into the business. But what I did and tried to do was just align what I did with work with who I am. And I'm a storyteller. I love to travel, all those things. So early on, I just did it. Like I picked something that I wanted to do. And I think people can do that too. Just find something that you're passionate about and chase it like your hair's on fire.
Yeah, I think it's
like
cool.
your hair's on fire.
I know, I've never heard that before. I would say, as someone who doesn't know you, has never met you before this, I think it's very cool that you seem to be the same person on TV or whatever as you are sitting right here. So it's always
That's
good.
a huge compliment.
It's
too.
always good to know, because you just never know. Like I don't know. I would probably be a different person on TV.
Well, and I think what people don't realize too, like especially TV and just broadcast in general, like for television news, you're going through a lot of things in one day. Like you're
so
riding
hard.
so many emotions, and like sometimes it's just like the pure adrenaline of like covering a game, and you don't even know what's going on at the time.
Do you know how many F-bombs would be dropped if I were put on a live, like a fucking lot?
I asked Sam, I was like, how much can we cuss? Because I'm feeling really, I'm feeling into it. That is, I mean, that's why I did it, is to connect with people. And that's one thing I really miss about television news, is that I don't get that full connection as much as I used to, where you're out telling somebody's story, and I feel that, and I want to translate everything that they're saying properly and digestible for everybody else that is also tuning in. Mm-hmm. And man, once again, it's a responsibility I really took great pride in. And so, yeah, that means a lot, because that's something I really cared about. And there are a lot of people in the business, and we see it more and more now. It's, they're just trying to get a sound bite, mm-hmm. or they're just trying to get a cool shot, or get the gotcha moment, or whatever it may be. I mean, there's a laundry list of things that we can go through. But that just like never was my style, and it never is. And maybe that's something that kind of drew me away from television news. I was just kind of, I wanted to put more into it. Mm-hmm. And it was just the 3-minute sportscast is limiting, and I'm passionate about connecting with people and telling stories and going longer form. And you can kind of do that in a 40-minute broadcast. You can do that when you're, telling a story on YouTube, and it can be 10 minutes long, or doing a 40-minute podcast. Like, those are where you can really get to know people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but
sweet.
Slide into advice time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, about that.
I told you
I
to be
listened
prepared.
to I did. I listened to a couple of the podcasts.
Which ones did you listen to?
I listened to Carson King. That was the big one.
Yeah.
And then I kind of like hit in and out of a bunch of other ones.
Yeah.
I mean, Boz is one of my guys. I love that dude. So, yeah.
Well, and that was a funny
Locked
thing.
in
Like,
with that.
I met Boz through you. So that was like another one of those things where like you just you were already in this circle, and then you brought me along into the circle, and then I brought Boz
Des
here.
Moines is like a big, tiny town.
Yeah.
It's so small.
And Boz is one of those guys who is really, I mean, he's 6 degrees of separation.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him through the Cerencies.
Oh, yeah.
So just like one of those things to where, you meet the Cerencies, and then you meet them, and it's the 6 degrees of separation is pretty cool. But no, I have listened to the podcast, and that's why I was so pumped up to be in here, because this isn't like I've been on podcasts before, and this is like by far the most I've ever revealed or talked about, and it's because of the format and the personalities, and you guys are awesome.
Oh,
Thanks, man.
thanks.
Better than Chris Williams.
Yeah, Chris Williams, man. But he's never had me on his podcast. I'll do it.
We'll call him out right here.
I guess
Williams, we're calling you out.
Oh,
I guess
boy.
thinking about the RVTV, the
keep
After
looking
Dark
at him.
pods. We've had some good After Dark podcasts.
Oh man, RVTV is something.
I
that
miss
that
it.
is the one.
You guys need
miss
a documentary on what happened.
Honestly, I
moving
would.
on.
Somebody should do a documentary on RVTV. I don't know who it's gonna be.
Well, I don't know who it would be either. Like, Bing Bang. Maybe.
I mean,
A behind the
I'll do it.
scenes would be incredible, and I'm glad that I'm married and out of the RVTV world.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
Those
Pops.
rhythms.
That's a great picture.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
you
well,
and your dad
I love that. Yeah.
That's so cute.
There's me just working.
getting it
Sweet.
done.
So, am I supposed to jump? Do you guys want me to jump into the
Yes, your
advice?
advice. Yes. So we always ask guests to bring 2 pieces of advice for those who are new to listening. Yes. So that's what we're doing now.
Okay, and I cheated a little bit because I was told to be prepared, and so I spent like 2 hours last week journaling about my thoughts for how. Like, first question at the top of the journal was, just jealousy, and what is jealousy to you? And I just started writing, and it took me down a lot of cool areas. And so I did write down my 2 pieces of advice because I just wanted to be proper and make sure I had it all right.
I love this. BTW. Yes.
And the first piece of advice is from the Mindset Monday that I've been putting on my Instagram page, and it's become adapted to being outside your comfort zone. And I don't know. I just find it so rewarding when you push yourself outside the comfort zone. Good things happen. There's just a ripple effect. Whenever you change what you're doing, all of a sudden there's this connection, this connection, and this connection. You talk about the 6 degrees of separation personally. You step outside your comfort zone, you find yourself in a different world or learning something new, and then that starts connecting other things down the road. And that's kind of how the Drake job came about. I mean, I put myself in a situation here, and here, and all of a sudden, I've got a job that I'm extremely happy with. And then my second piece of advice is align what you do, whether it's spiritually, physically, career-wise, whatever it may be. Align what you do with who you are. Mm-hmm. And once you can kind of find that alignment, some people try to say balance. I say alignment because there's no such thing as balance. But once you've aligned all of these things, I do believe happiness ensues. Mm-hmm. And everybody's out there just trying to find happiness and trying to be the nicest, happiest person that they can be. And it all kind of comes from aligning your life, not just a couple things, but everything.
Damn, those were good.
I agree, man. No, and I'm glad we brought you on.
Me too.
And I think people are going to take a lot away from this episode. And then hopefully we can...
Sorry, we had a creeper, Brandon Bingham,
Oh,
peeking
was it?
through the little curtain there.
Binger's creeping?
That's right.
That's no surprise.
That is no surprise. On his resume, that is his top skill, which is fine.
That's what he's going to have. Is that what he has underneath his business card for title?
Yes.
CEO Creeper.
It's just a little scratch off, and it's like creeper.
But no, I'm really happy we got to have you in here for you to tell more people about what you're doing. For people, where can they find you? Where can they see what you're doing at Drake? Take 30 seconds to plug yourself. Or longer. I'm not going to put a time on it.
I would just say Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I mean, if you just look up my name, I'm on there. So I try to share as much as I possibly can, but I also don't want to be that like overwhelming social media person. And then speaking of social media, that's my job, my day job. So Drake Athletics, YouTube page, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're putting out some good stuff. Awesome. Just trying to keep up with what you all are doing here, which we never will be able to.
Good luck. Just kidding.
Hashtag go Bulldogs.
This building's awesome, by the way.
Yes, it's fresh. It still smells like fresh paint.
Yeah. Is this technically the first Jealous podcast in the new space?
It's the second.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But the first one we've had in the building.
Hey,
You christened it.
I appreciate you guys having me. This is seriously, it's so much fun.
This was so much fun. I didn't know what to expect, but it blew my expectations out of the water.
Thanks.
That was a compliment. If it didn't come out that way, we'll cut it out. But it was
we had really low expectations for you, but
no,
you're not as much of an idiot as I thought.
I didn't know what I was going to get out of
you were an
Michael,
idiot.
but
Oh
man,
my
those
God.
eyes.
That did sound rude, and I'm sorry.
No, I took it as a compliment.
It was.
Thank you.
Damn. All right. Well, thank you so much, and continued success on your journey. I'm excited to follow along, and yeah.
Let's hope we can all get in the nap this year.
Yeah.
All those things. Let's just get at it.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.